All right. Today's preview is on Manchester United versus Chelsea. This game is going to be at Old Trafford, played on Saturday. Honestly, my thoughts on this game, both managers actually need this win, Both managers, it's unfortunate that both managers are meeting at a time where a win is desperate. Following the Maresca's loss in the Champions League versus Bayern Munich, and then AMORIM is, according to reports, has 3 games to save his job. But as a Manchester United fan, I'm not even confident of this game because I'm the type of fan that has given up on Amorim since like after his first 10 games. Like people around me know I've lost faith in the manager even before the Europa League final. But then the Europa League final kind of just broke the straw on the camel's back because if as a manager you put your ego before winning a trophy, then that kind of shows how much or how much you don't care about the club, how much you don't care about the fans. Because even Ange at the time, yes, he has always been a preacher of high line, but in that final, he didn't play high line. He did not play high line. He played a low block, decided to wait on counter, he didn't come to he just came for the win because it's a one-off game, which was what I expected for Amorim from that Europa League final. But moving on to the game itself, the funny thing about this game, or the trick in this game now, is Chelsea has not won on the Old Trafford in I think 12 years. The last time Chelsea won at Old Trafford I think was 2012. Yes, since 2013 Chelsea have not won at Old Trafford. So now, coming into this game, deep down, irrespective of what's at stake, if Maresca losing this game, sorry, not Maresca, if Amorim losing this game would mean that he loses his job and we get to change our manager, I'm willing to take the loss because at this point there's no need of putting your hope in something that has disappointed you time and time again. So, but then the fact that Chelsea have been unable to win at Old Trafford in the past 12 years says a lot about the mentality of the Chelsea squad coming to Old Trafford. So that might play in the favor of Amorim in the game on Saturday. But if at all, the best result, if I'm being sincere as a football fan and not a Manchester United fan, I don't see us getting past a draw. But if he's able to make the necessary changes in terms of tactics, in terms of his formation, in terms of being flexible, then of course Chelsea, they are there for the taking. Chelsea's defense is literally their weak point. The only thing saving Chelsea in the defense line right now is Sanchez, because Sanchez is at the top of his game. Like the Sanchez of Pochettino is not the Sanchez under Maresca. Like he is literally on top of his game, and he made fabulous saves against Bayern in their Champions League game. So I believe that what's his name? I believe that Sanchez is the only solid person in the back line. The rest of the maybe Sanchez and Cucurella, but you saw Cucurella you saw Cucurella against Olise in the Champions League. But I'm not going to judge Cucurella by just that one game. So let's see what he has against us on Saturday. So the last time Chelsea played Man U was at Stamford Bridge. That was last season. That was the 1-0 win where I think Cucurella scored in like the 70th minute from a fabulous cross from Reece James. I think he beat Garnacho in the process of before putting in the cross for Cucurella. So speaking of Garnacho in this game, right? I feel the fact that he is going to come into, if Maresca decides to start Garnacho, I believe that's not going to be the best decision, because Garnacho is going to be too much in a hurry to want to like prove a point. Like the fact that Amorim didn't want him in the squad, the fact that even Rashford is balling where he is, Garnacho will want to be. So I feel like that might get him a little bit over his head and he might not come through the way he's supposed to. So yeah, back to the game, right? My initial thoughts now is for this game for Amorim is, as a manager, why not try now that, because you can't, in all honesty, you can't end the season. I mean, you can't end last season the way you did and then start this season the way you're starting. You're yet to, aside the fact that he's yet to win back-to-back games, he's still yet to convincingly win a top six team in the Premier League. So it's like, what? Why? Like, why are Ineos still supporting him? Why are Ineos still backing him? Even there is no other manager in any club, even as small as Sunderland. You know, my respect to Sunderland, but a newly promoted side wouldn't take this result that Ineos are taking on under Amorim, and it's like, just let the man go, you know. But nonetheless, my preferred 11 in this game. Okay, before we get into this preferred 11, I know certain players that are expected to turn up in this game, both from the Chelsea's perspective and also from like the Man U's perspective. Players like, from the Chelsea side, players like Caicedo, players like Opama, and players like Pedro is going to, in all honesty, Pedro is coming into this game with fire. Which is why I'm saying, like, if I'm not being biased, I don't see us winning this game. You know, I don't see. Amorim has proven time and time again that he's not the one. So my preferred 11 now for this game, I would prefer the new goalkeeper Lamens to be in goal, because after buying the year, he's not giving us what we want. I get that, you know, maybe the manager is thinking of playing him into form now that what's his name, Onana, has gone and all that, but there's no need wasting our time. I feel like there are certain saves that you expect from a goalkeeper that he's unable to give you, and it's just disappointing. So let's have Lamens in goal. Let's see what he has to offer, and it would also reduce the confidence of the Chelsea attack, because this is a new person. And the moment he makes a save or two, you know, he begins to make his own name. He begins to have his own reputation. The players begin to give him some sort of respect, you know. So let's have Lamens in goal. And then for my right wing back, as much as Ahmad, I wouldn't want to play Ahmad in that right wing back, but where else would he play, seeing as Mbeumo is going to play the right turn, you know, and Mazarawi isn't the best at that right wing back position. He can give you a solid performance as a right back, but as a right wing back, I just prefer Ahmad plays that position, and moreover, Ahmad has that attacking threat against the Chelsea defense, you know. So I'll still leave Ahmad at the right wing back. Maybe seeing as the game goes on, Amorim could make like a substitution, you know, maybe if we're able to get a goal or two, and then, you know, to switch to like a defensive mindset, or to switch like a defensive tactics, we can then have what's his name, Mazarawi, come in. So Ahmad in the right wing back. My three defenders would be Delete, Maguire, and Euro. Delete, Maguire, Euro. Sure, is Maguire injured? I don't think so. Maguire isn't injured, right? So yeah, my back three should be Euro, Delete, Maguire, Euro. So yeah, Maguire isn't in. Yeah. So then my left wing back should be, what's his name, Dogu. I mean, we don't have a better option. I've seen Diogo Leon play that position, but he's still not ready for the pressure of the game. So let's have Dogu there. Then my two midfielders, genuinely, I would prefer, even though I know that's not what the manager is going to do, so I would prefer Casemiro and Meno right there. But like, I'm not a fan of the back three, but I guess I have to give my lineup based on what I certain the manager would still do. But God willing, the manager changes his mind and maybe plays a back four. So let's have Casemiro and Meno start. Then let's have, because Ugarte, the less said about Ugarte, the better. Then for my 2 10s, Mbeumo for sure on that right turn, and then Fernandez on the left turn. I'm not sure Cunha is fit enough to play, so I don't know where to put Cunha. Yeah, Cunha might not be fit enough to start. So for my, and then for the striking position, let's have Sesko. Sesko needs to start in the game. And like, what's the point of bringing in a striker when you know that you're not going to play to the striker's strength? I still don't understand what's going on with Manchester United, to be honest. Like, the club is finding it hard to beat the allegation of ruining players' reputation, or ruining players when they come to, in fact, players and managers, because the Amorim at Sporting was, And who were those Sporting players? It's not like Amorim came into Sporting and then he did a squad overhaul. It was the players he met that he transformed. So why is he finding it hard to do this? If at all he wants to stick to that back three, why is he finding it hard to transform these players to be his type of players? But what else? My score line. So that's my combined 11, right? Lamens in goal. My back three: delete Maguire, Euro. For my right wing back, Ahmad. My left wing back should be Dogu. Two midfielders, Casemiro and Meno. Then maybe substitution can be done later in the game. Then my two tens, Mbuemo and Fernandez. Even though I know the manager will still be too stubborn and still play Fernandez as a pairing holding midfielder. I don't know what his ideology is there. And then my striker is Sesko. So let's move on to my preferred score line. My scoreline position for this game would be a narrow 2-1 win, because we're finding hard to keep a clean sheet. Although I believe if we start Lamens, we might actually keep a clean sheet. So let me have two score lines. One, if we start Lamens, 2-0. Number two, if it's Bayenda there, then 2-1 at best. But if I'm to give my scoreline as a football fan, that game probably 1-1 draw, even a 1-0 win from Chelsea. So, because I know Chelsea, they are coming into this game with a lot to show. And also they are trying to beat the allegation, because now the news on the media now is, are Chelsea really that team? Because I think it was it TNT Sports, or I've really forgotten where I saw that ex-Liverpool player called the Conference League trophy a Mickey Mouse Cup. So it's like, and their road to the FIFA World Cup win was like, so let's see what Chelsea have for us on Saturday. And that's my preview for the Manchester United versus Chelsea game. And you guys, please like, share, subscribe. Let's help the channel grow, and see you